Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The House of the Potter. If you are joining us for the first time, don't forget to click the link below, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, as you all know, we always like to do the introduction. So my name is Joseph, and this here with me,
Comfort.
Yeah, so remember, we are both moderators, and we are the one in charge of the House of the Potter. So the House of the Potter, it's a no judgment zone. It's a place where we rub minds together. We discuss our thoughts concerning pending issues. It's cut across all facets of life. We bring guests to this place, and it's always fun. I want you to sit back and watch. And if you're not decided yet, if you want to subscribe, please just search the notification button, subscribe, leave your comments, and share. So let's dive into today's topic. Last week we discussed about our growing up, and we gave a little bit of background about ourselves. So today we're going to be continuing from the previous episode. So today we're still going to be answering some questions. So I'm going to be asking my sister. She's going to start first. So what made your mind towards coming to America, and just give us a little big background about American dream and what has been your experience so far?
I'll say it's God, because there's this church that I normally go to when I go visit my cousin. I go with my cousin to the church, and whenever I go there, the pastor always allows me to lead worship and praise. So there's this day when this particular day when I went there, the man of God came to me and said that he's doing the application for visa lottery. I'm like, is it true? I was wearing a long dangling earring then, because I remember he came to my cousin's house after the end of the service. He was like, I'm going to take your picture, but you will need to take out your earring. I'm like, is this true? I don't think it's true. I'm like, if it's true, I'm just going to leave it like that. If God wants me to go to America, then I will go. I'm just going to leave it. I don't even care if it's true. So he took the picture. So my final year in school, I think I was having just 3 days to graduating and 3 days to my defense program. So I was preparing for that. So I went to the market to get some things that I need. And sorry guys, before I was preparing for my project, defending my project, a week to my project, somebody called me on my phone, and the call coming. Person was like, Comfort, you want the visa lodge? I'm like, what visa lodge? What are you talking about? I did not even apply for visa lodge.
And with the scam going on in Nigeria.
Yeah. So I didn't really believe it that it's real. I'm like, why are you disturbing me? Please stop calling my phone. I switch off my phone. The person called again. The person called like 5 times. The last time the person called again, another day, it was like, what is wrong with you? You won visa lottery. Are you not Comfort? You know, he pronounced Comfort, my middle name and my last name. And he also told me where I'm from. I'm like, oh, so for this person to say that, then definitely this is real. Okay, I'm like, okay, I don't know anywhere in Akure except Futa and my cousin's place. So where do you want me to come and meet you? So he gave me the address. So I took Okada to that place. So Okada took me there. Getting there, even the pastor didn't even know that it was me, because you know my cousin's mom's last name is different, because you know she's near my last name. Sorry, because I don't want to say that right now. So it was like, oh, my daughter, so it is you that have been calling all this while. So he's like, oh, you know what? Just go home. I'll talk to you later. So he actually showed me the letter, but he didn't give it to me. So I came back, then I called my dad that I won visa lottery. So, and it was 3 days again. After that, I was also preparing for my project, to defend my project. I went to the market to get some things that I needed. So getting there, it's very funny. Like, I didn't know that the cab that I entered was this kidnapper people. And they took me to one corner like that. They took my credit card, they took my phone, and they took everything that was with me then. So before they even took that, I was so scared because I started reading the Psalms, like reading different Psalms, and I was saying it and praying in my heart that God, I don't want these people to hurt me and all that. Even though they took my phone and my credit card, there is this particular guy that was among them. He told me to stand up, that I should be going. So he called an Okada guy to take me, and he gave the Okada guy money. Like, he should just take me to wherever I'm going. That was how I escaped it. Then I heard that those guys, when they take you, is it that they rape you even after they collect your money? I just give God glory that didn't happen. And I was also preparing, getting a news from a news that I won visa lottery, preparing to defend my project, and kidnapping. So all this thing was like, everything was like together. It happened within the same week. You were asking me my experience.
Yeah,
So
your experience.
after we applied for my dad and I did the application for the visa lottery, did all the processing and all that. We submitted it. So they gave me a date for interview. Before that date, I fasted for 7 days. Yeah.
Prayer warrior.
I fasted for 7 days before that. And what baffles me most, because when I was preparing for that, I read online I started researching on what kind of question they ask people when they go for interview and all that. I started reading. Some people will tell you that they ask about your educational background, ask you different educational questions and all that. So I was preparing for it, and I did all my preparation. But what baffles me most was when I got there. Initially, they told me that the money for the visa was $780, which I made the payment. But getting there, they said they increased it to $890. So I believe that God was He was trying to save me from, maybe He wanted a particular person to interview me. That's what I'm going to say, because there's this guy that was there that day. He's just telling people to go away. He's not going to, he wasn't approving their visa that day. But for me, when I was in that line, I was told that, man, if you don't have your money completed, you need to reschedule your interview. And I went to meet my daddy. My daddy said, he has some money. Let's go to all these Aboki people to
Be ready to
change it. So we did it, and I made the payment. And guess what? When I got there, the man did not ask me any question. He was just looking at my credential. You know what he said? He said, you've achieved all this with your age. You look so young. And the only thing I told him was that, well, my mom is a teacher. He just smiled. He said, he just signed my paper, and he didn't ask me no question. He just said, go pick your visa. That was how it went. Getting to America, it was very, 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 very challenging. Like, even, is it from my point of entry, and the bag I was carrying was very, very heavy for me. Like, I went through hell. And that day it was snowing, and that was my first day of seeing snow. I was crying,
Oh
you can imagine you with four traveling box, and I have one again that I'm carrying. Hey, it was so heavy. Like, I was like trying to go from one airport to another. It was so stressful. Like, it's something that when I remember, I'm like, it's something that I believe that God was just trying to prepare me for more challenges that I'm going to experience later. So I'll say that I went through a lot of challenges, but God was always there to help me. Was it when I was awaiting my social security? It didn't come 2 weeks because my cousin, they changed their address to another address, and maybe, I was supposed to report to the embassy, which I did not. And, so we had to go in to get it. And even my green card, they almost sent it back. But thank God that we made the move, because someone suggested to me that normally you're supposed to receive your social security card within 1 week of your arrival. Mine was like almost going to like a month, and I didn't get it. So they actually sent it 3 times and they returned it. So a lot of challenges. Is it getting a securing a job and all that? It was so difficult working in the manufacturing. I was just seeing myself that I don't think this kind of job is for me. Staying there for like 12 hours, it was very, very difficult. I'm like standing for 12 hours,
American
carrying
dream.
heavy stuff. I'm like, I don't want to, like when I get old, before I get old, I don't want my back to be to bend like this, because when you see most of the people working there, they are working like this, so bad, like it's so terrible. I'm like, this one is not for me. I think I'm just going to go to medical line. And someone called me. I'm like, hey, the state is organizing CNA program for people. Are you interested? That's how I went, and
Wow.
the state paid for my CNA, and I did it. I passed, and I went, and I got a job.
Wow.
So it was, even though there was difficulty, God was there all through. Like anytime I face any difficulty, I see God in every of my situation.
Wow, thanks for sharing. I really learned a lot from that. Also, it seems we have kind of similar story or similar experience. And for me, my was a different route entirely. I didn't come to the DMV. So for me, I remember when she got here that year, I remember then I was telling her, oh, soon I will join you. I just had this crazy faith. So I'm this kind of person that I know God has been faithful to me, but I'm always positive. Like whenever I dream about something, whenever I have it in my head, I'm always like thinking about it. I can remember then I was in the university, maybe my first year or second year. I know then you were doing your PhD, was it postgraduate? When you were coming, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, then I was always telling my friends that, you know what, by the time I finish my university, I don't want to stay in Nigeria. I just want to come study abroad. And it's something I've always dreamt of. I just like the experience. When I see people in the TV and I watch stuff, I say, oh, this is what I want to become. So I've always had that mindset in my head. Even when people ask me, I say, oh, after my master's, I'm traveling out. So my friends, you do laugh at me, then they'll tell me, what are you talking about? But it's just kept that positivity, and I was always like, just thinking about every day whenever I wake up, and I was always praying to God and say, God, grant me my heart desires. So I remember when I finished my university and I was serving then in Ogun State, because I remember I redeployed. I was serving. So that this man, I will never forget him. Oh my God, I will never forget him. So I remember then I took 2 exams. I wrote the TOEFL, and so when I met him, I won't call his name, but he knows himself. For public stuff, I don't want to put his name out there. I see him as somebody I can never forget, because God has really used him a lot of times in my life, and he knows himself, and I always appreciate him every time. I always pray for him every time from my heart. So one of these days, I went for a wedding program. Then he saw me. He was like, my son, so are you done with your master's program? And I said, no, like I've not done. Like I have intention of traveling out. Then he told me, Joe, but Daddy didn't tell me. I was like, oh, maybe Daddy didn't remember. I said, don't worry, come see me. Do you know he paid for one of the forms for applying here. He paid for it. I cannot forget. Then I applied. When I applied, the first time they denied me, because not like visa, the school denied me because my application came late. I remember schools in Nigeria sometimes they are very, very, you have to be praying so hard. So they sent my transcript very late. So around that time, I was just busy with the church work. I was a Sunday school teacher. I always go do Sunday school, teach the children, and I was also diligent with God's work. I was also doing those. And that's why one thing we always need to understand, that whenever you're involved in doing God's work, He will never disappoint you. So I could remember one day, I just got a call. I came back from fellowship that day. I was home and I got a call. I was told, Joe, they've given you, and the school has offered you an admission. I was like, what? I didn't expect it, because I didn't think about it. And I could remember then when I wanted to take those TOEFL exams, even to my siblings, they were always laughing at me. They said, look at you, you're just wasting your time. Better go do your master's. Even I remember one time, then Daddy was telling me, Joe, I know you have your dream. of traveling abroad, but why not just finish your masters then? And I know he had this good heart for me, but because I know what I wanted. So one thing I want us to learn today is that people don't really see your vision. It's only you that sees your vision. And when God is interested in you, you have to be very intentional. The reason why we decided to share experience is about intentionality. You have to be intentional about what you want. To the extent that even your family members might end up like discouraging you, not because they choose to, but because they don't see that picture happening at that time. But you, when you have that dream, stay close to it and be positive. As you are trusting God, you have to also exercise that faith. So for me, when that came out, I was like, okay, they said I'll have to go do interview. My passport, funny enough, I've never traveled out of the country. So my passport was a Virgin passport. Then I started hearing series of stuff. People telling me, oh, they might reject you because it's your first time of traveling. As per the dad I have now, he told we fasted too. Like my sister, I fasted, it seems 3 days. So on that day, I remember I had a dream. And that dream wasn't funny. I had a dream that it seems somebody poured something on me in my dream. I'm like, oh my God, this is not a good dream. So I prayed I prayed so I'm like, these village people shouldn't follow me to this place. it was kind of funny. Then we got to the place where we'll be interviewed. I took my stuff in. Then they told me I needed to pay $5,000, 5,000 naira to do a photocopy. I'm like, what? I told the man, I don't have money. The only money I have is like maybe 2,000. The guy said, don't worry, give it to me. Okay, it was for a passport because I didn't know the number of passport they wanted us to bring. So the guy told me, as I'm seeing you, don't worry, they'll give you this visa. I didn't say anything. I just said amen. So I went in. So they had this queue. There was this guy too. I saw the way people were dressed. That's why I looked at him. I'm like, it's not even about the number of English you can speak. It's not about how dressed you are, how wealthy you are. When God is ready to favor you, He doesn't follow protocol. God doesn't follow. He's not a God that follows protocol. He will do it so that you don't give praise to yourself. I was literally on the line. 3 people were before me, in front of me, and the guy was just rejecting them. I could see the way these ones, they package themselves. War suits, rejecting them. So all of a sudden, the guy just came to pull me from that line. I don't know what I did. He just pulled me, said, you know what? Go to this next line. I was even almost like, what was going on? So I just went there. Then the lady that interviewed me, 2 questions. And after with all the stuff I did, where are you going to? I said, in America. Who is sponsoring you? I said, my dad. She just said, oh, come back in 3 days. Then she took my passport. And for me, I didn't even know what it means. Then I was already leaving. Then I ran back to her. I said, Madam Oga, give me my passport. She said, oh, sorry, we can't give you your passport because we just gave you we are going to stamp your passport, your visa. I was like, what? So I didn't want to embarrass myself. I wanted to shout, but I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I just held it. Then I came out. I said, thank you, Jesus. I was praising God. Then I met a colleague of mine too that went to the same school. They also stamped his visa. So when I got outside, so my brother and it was my brother that took me there that day. So I squeezed my face towards him. I didn't want him to know. He said, oh, Joe, what have I said? They didn't give me the visa. I said, don't worry, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be fine. Then I said, oh, they gave it to me. It was like, wow. Then when we got to we called my dad too. We did the same too. I pranked my dad. You know what he said that day? He said, it's okay. He said everything works together for good. I can't just forget that statement. I was like, this man. So, but I felt that relief of God. I was like, I knew God wanted me to come to America. The reason why we are deciding to share our story. Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, so there is something I want to say. Why, I told you that I fasted for 7 days. There's something I learned from my dad. My dad is our prayer warrior.
Mm-hmm.
During that period, when I wake up to go to the bathroom to pee, I always see my dad in the middle of the night. He will lie down on the floor, be rolling and be praying to God. So the prayer of the righteous availeth much.
And that's true. And it's like a seed. You are sowing a seed into people's life. As you are sowing that seed, God is always looking at those things. That's why for we that we still have parents, you need to keep blessing your parents. And you always pray for them. So the reason why we decided to share our story today is about we telling you guys, don't forget your humble beginning. And God rewards those that diligently seek Him.
Seek Him.
As
Yeah.
you are doing the right thing, as you are doing those things, stick to your dreams, stick to your goals. Don't be discouraged. Even when somebody is telling you, if you don't have a dream about, there's one topic we'll talk about regarding what was this topic again? About your vision and dream. Because I remember that some people, they will tell you they want to travel. Then eventually they don't have a passport. You don't make move, and you're praying to God. God, give me visa.
You
God,
still
give me
need to
visa.
make move. You need to do something. If you are asking God for something, like you want to travel, and you are just in your house, not trying to apply, it's not going to come to you directly. So you need to, research on what you need to do.
Exactly.
And like he said, you need to remember your humble beginning. If you remember your humble beginning, it will make you thank God. Like if you look at the past and where you are today, you always say thank you to God. And we should cultivate the habit of saying thank you to God. It goes a long way. When you say thank you for something, you receive more from God.
Wow. I really enjoyed today's episode. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed today's episode, put on the comment section, tell us what you liked about the video, and also share your thought about the video.
And what you want us to do and how we can improve. We're going to appreciate every of your comments.
Thank you guys for tuning in into today's episode. We do appreciate you, and we are not taking you for granted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the video. There's no better place to be
than in the Potter's house.
Till we see you again next week. Peace out.